Bless you.
All right, we are only 3 minutes late, so we are ahead of schedule. All right, welcome everybody to Is Your Six Covered. We got RTT Guns and Gill and X-Ring, so appreciate you guys showing up.
How is everyone?
Good. I see the coronavirus has not let you get a haircut, Mr. X-Ring.
I'm gonna let it grow out. I'm gonna do the hippie thing.
You doing a hippie thing?
Yeah.
He's gonna let his hair get like this.
Probably not like that, but
well, depends how long this lasts, right?
That's it.
So Matt said he has a joke. Let's hear it.
No?
You put in the thing earlier.
Read it.
Let's see. Let me read it. I saw somebody say, tell us a joke. So I have a joke about the coronavirus. You probably won't get it. Oh, geez.
Yeah, the joke is you probably won't get the coronavirus.
All right. Moving on. All right. So what's everybody up to? Let's see. Matt, you've been traveling the thing. I think the last video I saw was pretty cool. You guys had a range day, but it was all hiking and checking out some areas.
Yeah, it was. That one was less of a range day and more of a day where I was checking out some of the more popular, more highly used illegal trafficking locations in this area. Some of the corridors they use up in here, and the good news was there was very little new stuff, which means that means part of that's expected just because of the heat. The prime, I don't know if I want to say prime, but the highest, the busiest time is anywhere from October to March because it's the coolest months and all that. And who'd have thunk it? Illegals, just like anybody else, they don't like to die in the middle of the desert. So when it's
hot out there,
they tend to not travel this far.
When you're excited to find a bottle of boiling water in a black container,
right?
It's sucking. Now, X-Ring, I'm surprised, some type of environmentalist or some type of something hasn't put your video down for killing a poor innocent watermelon. I've never seen a watermelon get vaporized like that.
Yeah, unless you can recall an incident, I don't think we have ever shot any type of fruit or anything on my channel ever.
We shot a gummy bear once.
That's what I said. Yeah. The guy responded and I was like, the only thing I can remember fruit wise was a gummy bear. And that was it.
That thing, I don't know if you saw the video, Matt. He shot a 500. Was it Smith & Wesson? What was that? What the heck was that pistol?
Yeah, Smith & Wesson. Yeah, 500.
If you ever want to kill a watermelon, Matt, that's the thing to use right there.
Well, I wanted Rick to have a chance to shoot it, and he wouldn't. He was like, nope, I'm good. I was like, dude, really? He's like, nope, I'm good. I was like, come on.
I saw that one where you slowed it down, where you lost your grip on the left hand came off.
Okay, there's a story behind that. So all of that ammunition was given to me by Jerry. Well, Jerry thought it'd be funny if he would throw some different loads in there. That box was not all the Corbine. So he had one of them humdinger loads in there, and I slowed it down because it actually pulled the pistol out of my grip. I was expecting the exact same thing that I had before. I had already shot it twice at that point because I had the 0, I had the watermelon, then I stepped it back to 50, and it missed the target because it wasn't even the same load.
I don't know. I can tell I'm not ready for that pistol yet.
Yeah, I do want to answer one question. Brian Marks asked about a good custom action. I haven't been keeping up with the prices, but I do know that if you can get a Stiller Precision, those are really good actions. If you could have just one action to choose from, I would say go with the Bighorn. Bighorns are known to be their tolerances are almost second to none. And that's coming straight from the guys at Proof Research that check all the actions. I don't know what a Curtis Axiom action costs or any of the Curtis actions, but if you can get something like that, you should be good to go.
Kathleen, music lover. The hippie is X-ring. He doesn't look like the same guy.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I don't know about you guys with the watermelon and all that, but I try to stay away from shooting fruits. I'm afraid the LGBT community will come after me.
Oh, we live up here towards Asheville. It's bad.
Yeah,
they came flying up with their Priuses and demanded that we stop shooting fruit.
that's right. Step away from the watermelon. All right, let's say hi to everybody real quick. Jerry Parker is the first one, always the first one. When are you guys going to beat Jerry Parker? It seems like he's always there. He's the quickest ninja we got. William, how you doing, my friend? Brian Marks TV. Gagabite.
Jerry Parker is quick. He's
quick.
one of the first ones on my videos too. He's always like first, and there'll be like 3 firsts on there.
Brian, let's see. Hey, gun guys out there, how you doing, Andrew? Let's see, Brian Marks, Kathleen, music lover, Joaquin. Damn it, it jumped. +5, how you doing? Doug B, Brooks Harvey, Jason Fisher. I did an interview with the Canadian gun. Oh, that's cool. Let's see, let me go through here. Red October is present. Charles McKinley. And the Elster Rifles and Reloading. All right.
Yeah, so, what's up, Todd? Thanks again. He knows what I'm talking
Carcane,
about.
I miss Carcane out there too. Yeah, what's up, Todd? I would so shoot a 500. You know what? I have no intentions of even wanting to shoot the damn 500. Just not. I don't even like revolvers.
Yeah, Gagabytes. Let me answer this question real quick for Gagabytes 2020. She said, or they said, X-ring. Can a sear be filed down to achieve a nice break? Yeah, but you don't really call it filing. You really want to use a stone for that, and you can stone that for a clean break, but I'm not a big fan of that. You really need to I'm not going to say you got to know what you're doing, but you can go the wrong way with it, and all of a sudden you have an issue, and you don't want a gun to run away from you.
All right, we got a few more in here. Abigail, John Parson, we got Bill Geyser, Charles McKinley, Daniel got as my judge, Red Raider Reloading. How you doing? Let's see, who else do we get? All right, so I think we're up to par here. So how's everybody doing tonight? I got a question for you guys. So I was looking through Police One. I always try to get some information on stuff, and it turns out Baltimore turns to aerial surveillance as homicides continue. So for the next 6 months, up to 3 airplanes outfitted with wide-angle cameras will sweep over Baltimore in daytime flights designed to capture movements across about 90% of the city. Damn, that's crazy. Wanted to get that out there to you guys. I think it's crazy. We can talk about it, not talk about it. I know X-Ring's not a political guy. I don't think it has to be political, but it is definitely one of those things, and I'll put the article link to it. You guys can read about it, and we can talk about it later so everybody can check it out. But it's just something I saw, and I figured, wow, that's kind of crazy. So, oh, damn. What you doing, Matt? Here's the link to that.
Hey, Andrew hit it on the head. It's also called runaway gun. That's exactly right, man. We hit it on the head. We do think alike when it comes to that stuff. +5, I do want to answer this question, and maybe you guys can chime in.
Sure.
Why is there a break-in and a no break-in groups of people when it comes to new barrels? And I think it depends on how expensive your rifle is or how expensive that barrel is. I don't know anybody that's going to take a really stupid high-end precision rifle and just start banging rounds off of it, out of it. Most people are going to at least do a few shots of break-in. That's what I've usually seen.
All right, so Matt's got a question.
This is called the Q&A, so.
It is called the Q&A. So how important to you is dynamically clearing the threshold versus deliberately pieing the doorway? So dynamically clearing the threshold. You are talking to the most non-tactical guy, but I would assume that's quick. Dynamic.
That's get out of the fatal funnel quickly.
Exactly. Clearing the threshold versus deliberately pieing. So do you want to sit
I'm going to let him answer this, and I'll answer.
or do you want to come in like a bandit and start hosing some stuff? That's a great question. Let's let Matt answer the first one. So Matt,
I asked it. No, go ahead.
okay, how important do you think? I think it's here's my answer, and I have no idea. Just from what I know, which isn't much but 0, I would say that how important is it to dramatically clearing the threshold versus deliberately pieing the doorway? So if you're going to pie the doorway, right, you're doing that from behind, and whatever I'm saying could be wrong, so you guys can definitely chime in afterwards, but this will be kind of fun to see if I'm even close. So pieing the doorway, I would be doing that from a distance away from the door jamb, getting all the angles I can, and then right at the last second is when I would dramatically, after I've already cleared everything, get out of the funnel like X-Ring had said earlier. But basically, so there's my answer. I have no idea. Who's next?
I'll go. Okay, so this depends on how many guys you have. Okay, if you have a stack and you have a team and you're getting ready to do an entry, I've done enough of these to know, yeah, you're going to dynamically clear that doorway very, very quickly. You're going to clear your corners, and you're going to infill that room with a quickness. Okay, but you're going to typically be up armored to the gills. If you take a round, you take a round. It's just the way it is. But depending on how much is inside of that, you'll have that cleared. Now, deliberate pieing the doorway. If you are by yourself or you're with another guy and that's all you've got no other help, and we'll just say you're by yourself, that is when you want to pie and really take your time. And you're going to use those angles to your advantage. That is, I don't know how that answer could be answered any other way, how that question could be answered any other way.
I would call that the correct answer.
Okay.
Yeah, I would absolutely call that the correct answer.
It's kept me alive all these years.
Was that close?
Well, as an individual, you basically without, I mean, your basic answer was deliberately pie the doorway or the threshold, because you're by yourself. So essentially, that's what was just said.
2 points for me. Hallelujah. All right, here's my question to all you guys. What is this? Okay, so you got a sharp end over here with a hole in it. PVC pipe.
It's a tent stick.
That's a perimeter.
No. Oh no, that's a perimeter alarm. That's a tripwire.
Yeah, you guys are good. You guys are good. What's this?
That looked like a spoon off of.
Yeah.
That's all I could really tell.
Off a grenade.
You're really small right now.
I'm always really small right now.
Oh, is that one of those? Oh hell! What I can't even remember what they're. It's basically the head off of a grenade, but it's for a perimeter alarm. You put a 12 gauge primer in there.
Yes, 2 points for Matt.
Yeah,
and X-ray. Yeah, so 209 primer goes in here. You screw this into a fence, a tree, whatever. And then you got that cotter pin right there, right somewhere. There it is. And it pops. Same thing with this. If you don't have a tree, you can basically stake this in the ground, run some cordage, and keep bears out of your trash. Or bad guys out of your camp. Dun, dun. All right, so you got a ton of good questions here. Let me go back because I do not like to miss anything. So you guys talk about something, and I'll find a question real quick, and then we'll get cracking.
Well, I didn't miss anything from earlier because I thought there were a couple of long rifle questions.
Ryan Mark says, "What's good custom action?" You got that one?
Yep.
I figured I'd ask the CQB fuck some shit up question because everything else is going to be long range. You know,
what's your new long range rifle?
No, we can stay away from the long range questions. It's all good.
There you go.
Hey, why don't you ask me about 6.5 Grendel?
Yeah, here you go.
That was
4570 versus watermelon. Oh, that Carcane, that'd be a good one too. Kathleen's calling us fruit killers. Safety tip. Let's see. There was some good questions in here. I just don't know where they're at now. Thanks, Brooks Harvey. Watermelon was out of here. Oh, Rick wouldn't shoot the 500. And then question mark. I would, LOL. Yeah, I wasn't there that day, but I had already told him the day before. Ain't nobody got time for that. Let's see.
Yeah, he wanted nothing to do with it. He must have had a bad experience or something, because I was like, look what I got. Oh, I remember the question. No, it was not a 7-inch barrel. It was an 8.38-inch barrel on that 500.
Okay, there was a question about reloading. Those are Matt's favorite questions. But there was a question.
Red Raider reloading said precision reloading in all caps. Maybe that's what he wants people to talk about. I'm not sure.
Did you full length resize your 6.5 brass or just neck size it? Red Raider, I neck sized a majority of it, and I full length sized some of it. But now I'm annealing it, and I don't know if I'm going to full length or neck size. I'm not sure yet.
Well, we weren't full length. We were using a full length die, but we were just bumping the shoulders back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually I was neck size, and the last ones, those are actually pretty dang accurate too. Why is there a break-in? You did that one. Didn't you answer that one?
I treat my brass very special, no matter what caliber it is. I give it back to nature. It lays on the desert floor, and I walk away.
Well, I just ordered me a bunch of Lapua brass today, so it will not be laying in the desert. I will be like that little chicken that I swore I wouldn't be, and just pecking those little things off the ground.
That stupid stuff's expensive.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's a guy, and I've told people that before. Matter of fact, I think it was on a video one time. Somebody asked me if I picked up my brass, and I told them no. And there is, out at some of the spots that I shoot at. Of course, you guys know I don't reload, so it's not. I mean, unless I'm mailing it to somebody that does, it's pointless for me to pick it up anyway. But there is a couple of old men, got to be in their 80s or later, that come out in their Ford pickup like once a week and pick up brass to turn in for money for the VFW.
That's cool.
And so I had asked him one time, I was like, I can like ball it up, get my brass, just like put it in a pile, leave it here, or I can drop it off to you if the guys really want it to keep you from. No, we like to come out and have the exercise. And if you ball it up into, if you pile your brass up, somebody else is bound to come and get it because they see that pile sitting there. So just let us do our thing. Okay.
That's perfect for you, Matt.
Yeah. Like, cool. I love being lazy. Yeah, I thought it was pretty awesome. And I see them old men out there every Sunday. They're out there and they're beat to shit Ford pickup. They both have their one was Navy. I can't remember what ship he was on, but it's on his hat. And the other guy said he was Army. But they pick up brass and turn it in for money for the VFW. I thought it was awesome.
So Brian asked 6.5 with a hotter ammo, so basically I've tested 41 grains. That was kind of the staple. I tried 41, the heck was it? 41.3 and 41.6.
Send Andrew a link.
Okay.
No, I mean, yeah, because he was asking where the link is, so I assume that's what it was about.
Let me see.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
All right. See if I can find his email. It should be.
And Brooks Harvey, I got tired of waiting, and everywhere I went online, and I get a lot of stuff from Blue Collar as well, good folks. But everywhere I went, it was going to be delayed shipping, and I wanted it this week, so I went through Brownells. They actually had it.
Yeah, he wanted his brass. He waited too long.
No, I've got the Hornady, but I also ordered some of the.
That stuff sucks.
Okay, so just so you guys know, I've been shooting that 6mm Creedmoor, and I like it a lot, especially to be able to watch the impacts. But I was a little disenchanted when we had all that wind the other day, and it was about the same wind call as the 6.5 Creedmoor. So I did a ton of more reading, and I've been shooting the 108 ELDs, and I'm going to move up to a 115. The David Tubbs is a good one, So I ordered some of those, and I also got the Hornady 115. So we're going to see how it does, see what kind of velocity I can push with that, and that might help in the wind a little better.
All right. So, Brian, to answer your question, I did try a few. 41 seemed to be the best, and I'm just sticking with it. There you go. What's up, Andrew? How you doing?
Gentlemen, thanks for having me.
How you doing, Andrew?
How you doing, man?
Doing really, really well. Thanks, guys. Long day today.
Oh yeah.
My kind of tea.
So I got the letter from the government saying I was getting that tax, that $1,200 thing, the stimulus thing, and I'd already gotten it, right? Apparently snail mail moves a lot slower than direct deposit. But I read this thing and I kind of skim over it. I turn it over and it's got all Spanish on the other side. Like, why in the hell why is anybody who can't read English getting one of these?
California, you get them that way without the English, probably.
Welcome to America.
It really, I mean, I got kind of bent for a minute. I was like, I sort of started pacing the house a little bit. I was like, this is some bullshit. I mean, I get like bilingual and people who maybe, come here late in their life, and become a citizen and is learn. I mean, so I don't know how, I know Rick knows him. I don't know X-Ring and Andrew. I don't know if you guys know him, but El Tenda Fabrizio. So El Tenda is a great dude, gun guy, Italian immigrant. He was in whatever the army is, whatever the military is over there in Italy, and he's now an American citizen. His English is pretty good. I mean, you can carry on a conversation with him. So I get that there's bilingual people, and maybe sometimes that's needed, but a whole government document in another language, I'm sorry, I had a little bit of an issue with that.
Yeah, that's well, at least you got one. I haven't seen nothing yet.
Yeah, same here. Nothing.
I got nothing, man.
I got nothing.
I'm dropping
Nada.
shit all over the place. So what's Andrew up to besides Rich for picking his nose?
Pistol.
I'm not picking my nose. I'm drinking rye whiskey is what I'm doing.
Look at this, buddy.
Oh,
This is
I'll
what
take
I'm
this
talking
one.
about.
Long day. Horrible day.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, so
Go ahead.
So Ray, thanks a lot for taking the call today. My buddy Chris, he's got a Steyr 50 cal single shot, and he wants to push it out a little bit further than what he's been shooting, and he was looking for an adjustable base. That's not my world, so
yeah,
appreciate that.
Did he take a look at it and see what I was talking about?
Yeah, he did. He did. He's gonna pick one up. He's gonna throw it on. He's got a Night Force on it now, so
Awesome.
He's pretty serious. He was a long gun in one of the branches a long time ago.
Gotcha.
So we're all pushing the same age.
It's about half the cost as that Night Force Prism, so I think it'll be a good option, and you can dial it up, dial it down for what he needs. I actually thought about picking one of those up as well.
Boom. There we go.
So Kathleen asked if Glock was my primary pistol. So let me see if I can guess here. I would say we're gonna say Andrew HK. No? Okay. Let's see. Guns and Gear. CZ. I'm gonna get all these wrong. And then we're gonna say,
man, you really suck at this game, don't you? Wait, before anybody tells anybody anything.
Yep.
Let's all do this. So Andrew, you try.
What's that?
You try and guess what our carry gun is. Actually, all you guys out there try.
Hard to say.
I know 3 of the answers.
All right. Well, I've got a lot of choices, so this is a fool's game, but
So, Matt, you better have some good answers because I might win this game.
let's call it the one you're most comfortable with and shoot the best.
That does not count.
That brand.
Okay, you get an F.
Good answer if I've ever heard one.
All right, Matt, what do you got? Let's see.
Ray is a SIG, and
What's it?
Andrew is a 1911.
No.
Okay, my turn. Let's see. So Matt is a Glock 43 or 19X, and X-Ring is a SIG 365, and Andrew, this one's going to be tricky. Let's try. I'm going to say Glock 19.
Very close.
Damn.
You didn't come across as a Glock guy to me, man. You just did not. I was gonna say Glock. I also didn't say 365 for Ray. I just said SIG.
Nah, I roll with a Glock 17. I roll with a Glock 17. It's a Gen 2 Glock 17. I got it in 1992. It works. I shoot it great. It works. It's got a set of night sights on it. It's never been touched. It's just rock and roll. Change the springs, rock and roll.
All right, so
Nothing fancy.
I guess we already answered.
Yeah.
And you're right.
Two SIG 365s or a Glock 19. 365.
Mine is a 43 or a 19X, either one. Yep.
If you guys would watch our videos, you would know the answers to these.
Well, I've carried a 19 as long as I can remember, and I wanted the 365 just for the size and the capacity, especially in the South. And I've got, man, at this point, about 2,200 rounds out of it, and it's perfect. Got no issues. And so I'm carrying one of the two.
Oh, God.
And Brian, I did read the comment. I'm glad those guys helped you out over at Best Targets. I really like their targets.
So Iraq says a yeet cannon. Nobody ever carries that unless it's to the trash. I will beg to differ, sir. For many years ago, I carried a High Point C9 for probably 5 years, and it never had a single malfunction after I fixed the magazine. Because most of the C9 malfunctions are the magazine feed lips need spread apart just a little bit on those metal mags. And that's the bulk of any High Point malfunction, unless it absolutely just dies. But no, I carried that sucker for a long time, and that thing ran and ran and ran and ran.
I need a drink. Okay. They do run.
They do. They run, and they're hard to stop them.
Well, when somebody comes to me and they say, well, I don't have a whole lot of money for a pistol, I say, well, you got to have something. Better than nothing. And they work. They do work. I mean, don't keep selling them because they don't.
Right. I mean, I don't know why Rick's talking. He's muted. It's funny though.
He's chewing on a mouthful of pumpkin seeds is what he's doing.
That's right.
You left him out in the sun too long the past couple of days, Ray.
I haven't seen him in the last couple of days. He's been doing honeydew
Just
work.
kidding.
I don't carry it anymore, E-Rock. It's been years. I'd like to buy another one just to have, just to have something to beat the shit out of it on occasion. But
check the couch cushions for change. You should be able to pick one up.
I got a change jar in the kitchen. Yeah, I could probably. Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was low-hanging fruit. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Did someone say fruit?
Yeah.
Or
Rick's
fruit.
going mad and Rick's losing it. That was a long time ago, my friends.
I know a guy. E-Rock says, I know a guy.
You know, somebody's saying M&P 9mm Pro 5-inch barrel. That's a great gun. The M&P guns are really good. Hard to beat. They're all good. Nobody builds an outhouse anymore, not even High Point.
I bought one in 40 back in the day when they first came out.
Yep.
And I like that pistol. But I wish I would have bought it at a 9.
Hey, my M&P 40 is great, except for it's a 40. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Mine's actually at the gun shop.
I have High Point stories. You have 40 stories. It's about the same.
Same thing.
You know, it's really bad when you wind up, you know, when you drive a desk around for a lot of years, do a lot of typing, and you're in the position thing, and you get the carpal tunnel thing going. After a while, you pick up that 40 and you take it to the range, and you rattle a couple of rounds down range. Stingy, very stingy.
I've always said, but speaking of the M&P, I know I've said to a lot of people that if the Glock 19 or variations of the 19 didn't exist, I would probably carry the M&P 2.0.
It's a good gun.
Yeah,
I like it.
They're a good gun. They sell a lot of them for a reason. They're a good gun. The M&Ps are a great gun. The CZ P10 all the CZs are good, but the P10 is particularly really great for a carry gun.
I have one of those. I actually enjoy that over the Glock.
Yeah, a lot of people do. My brother has one. He really likes it. So, you know, they're hard to
trigger's better. The grip feels better.
Yeah.
It's more aggressive.
I got a SIG 320 that I just cannot get along with. I'm having a hell of a time with it. I just don't love it. And I'm trying to get my hands on one of the Wilson Combat grip frame modules and the carry version. And the carry size grip module. They're just always out of stock, and they say that really helps out quite a lot. So I'm really looking forward to trying to get my hands on that, see if I could really like that pistol. But until then, I don't like it so much. Great gun, works. Don't love it.
One of the guys that I'm always working with, he switches back and forth from his 320 to his G19, and he goes back and forth between them. And he keeps saying, basically his thing is that if we're going to be doing target practice that day, he brings his 320 out. If we're kicking doors down, he brings his 19.
Makes a certain amount of sense. They're pretty comfortable.
Brian, I am still furloughed. I'm glad you had your first days as a captain, and yes, there's a lot of computer work, but it's still better than being a BC. So don't promote higher than that if you can afford it.
So here's something that
Casey's in here.
Casey's in here? I want his email. I'm going to send his ass an invite. What are you saying, Matt?
I finally had my first primary arms die on me.
Uh-oh.
No dot, even with a new battery.
Even with the new battery?
Yep.
I'd pour a little whiskey for its dead homies, but this is too good.
Yep. I have had 4 or 5 of these of just the basic primary arms. What are they, $90, you know? And this is the first one that has died on me.
What do you send it back and they send you a new one?
No, because they got
lifetime guaranteed.
They got a 1-year guarantee.
All right. There you go.
I think they have a lifetime guarantee on some of their stuff. Maybe their scopes. I don't remember. But on the red dots, I think they only have a 1 year.
Good to know.
Huh.
Otherwise, yeah. I'm actually kind of hurt by this because I've had so many of these and they're still running.
God, we could make an evening out of talking about the optics business, couldn't we, Ray?
Yeah, we could. For sure.
Did you do a video with you mowing down? Oh no, never mind.
No. They were asking about the Pterodon, the Gurkha. I was going to put the 240 Bravo up there.
Got it.
240 Bravo.
Sounds like another ice cream run.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Oh,
That was actually fun. Casey, what's up, Casey? Casey had watched my video, and he called Ray and said, Rick only showed me missing. No, I showed him you hitting.
And I did tell him that.
all
I
the
said he showed you hitting it first.
That's right. How you doing, John Williams? That was a fun day. That was fun.
Yep, 1 year. I just got on the Primary Arms website for this particular one, which is $89.99. It's their Classic Series Gen 2, and has 1 year, 2 MOA dot, 1 year, blah blah blah, 11 settings, 1,000 hours. So it's not like one of them 50,000 hour. I mean, it's $90. Come on.
you should look into a Sig Romeo 5 if you're looking to replace that. I have one. It runs real great.
I already replaced it with a Vortex Crossfire.
Well, that'll work.
Yeah. One of the guys, which is the SIG? I can't remember which one he has. It's a SIG. It's about this size, but it has a solar on the top.
Holosun.
No, it's SIG. It says SIG Romeo right on it.
I don't know.
I'll ask Dr. Google.
Google.
Dr. Google,
Yeah.
I heard of him.
And while you're doing that, John Williams, I'd never run a conical washer on anything except like an AR with some type of muzzle brake or something like that. Typically on suppressors, I want it to be a hard stop on the shoulder, so I will use actual, the like peel washers or something like that. I'm sure there's a lot of guys that use them. I'm sure it works well, but I'm not a big fan of that personally.
Romeo 4C.
Romeo 4, yep. It's the gray one. Romeo 4, 1x20, blah, 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 has the circle and all that. Yeah. So he's got that, and he can't find a freaking magnifier that'll match up to it. It's got a weird height base.
Just run a low power variable.
What's
I tried that.
email, Ray? Will you read that?
Which one?
Casey's
I answered
email.
it.
Officer.
308 Duncan something.
Well, I don't know. Put it on the screen so I can see it.
One of you guys?
We're going to need to blow the screen up for my eyes. Oh, my God.
Oh, you guys suck.
Cooked.
All right, hold on.
We got Silver Fox in here too. What's up, Silver
What's
Fox?
up, Silver Fox? How you doing? What is going on? Don't save. Jeez. All right, my multitasking skills are. Oh.
Multitasking means doing nothing particularly well.
All right, this is going to require a pen. I thought it was easy enough. And it should have been.
God.
Well, just go ahead and read it off, and I'll try to listen.
That's all right.
Okay.
Let's see. Has anybody got any good questions?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got one.
Everybody says I drink blood in my vampire.
I got one.
All right.
If you refuse to pay a hooker, is it shoplifting?
That's shoplifting the punani. Yes, it is.
I asking for a friend, obviously. I mean,
Of course. Yes. Of course. All right, Casey, I'm sending you a link. Just know that you're going to get busted up in here, and you're going to have to like it. Just.
Well, I wanted to say something to Ray. I was texting you back and forth the other day about you guys shooting the shorter barreled 6.5 Creedmoor. Boy, do you add a lot of wind when you slow that bullet down, don't you?
It's a 20-inch.
That was a
whoa.
20-inch?
No, it's 18.
You're talking about Casey's.
You're
Yes,
talking
sir.
about
Yeah, the 18.
18.
Yeah, he's given up a lot of velocity, but
Yeah.
I think that rifle for the price point, even though it's an 18-inch, which is the shortest 6.5 Creedmoor I've ever shot, you still have no problems if you know what you're doing hitting targets out to 700. I mean, you know, I think you can definitely take it to 1,000 yards without any issue, depending on the size steel. But yeah, you are giving up velocity, and that's something you really don't want to give up in that game.
I have not, conservative sniper, been practicing with the Grinnell.
Now you guys have got me wanting to build a lightweight bolt action rifle with a tiny little pencil barrel and 6.5 Grendel just for giggles. Seems like a nice little cartridge.
It is a nice cartridge. How do you like? Oh man, that Ruger Precision 22 long rifle is a kick in the pants, Brian. I'd buy another one all day long.
That rifle's really that good, isn't it? For what it is.
For what it is, there's guns that probably shoot tighter groups but for practicing positional shooting and not spending a bunch of money, it is perfect.
Nothing wrong with the 22.
No.
You got a lot of people ask me about that drone that we took out there. There was a buddy of mine whose son had gotten that Mavic. It was a DJI Mavic, and it had 3 batteries and the controller. And you can control it with your phone if you want, but the controller gives you extra range. And I paid $200 for that thing. And that thing, let me tell you, it is an awesome little drone. I think the whole package, if you had to buy, it's like $600 with the controller and all that. But you know, you can have this thing will actually follow you. You can lock it in on yourself, or let's say like the Ranger, and it will follow you. You're not going to get away from it either. And it will orbit you if you want while it's following you. So it's pretty cool.
Congratulations, Audit Everywhere. That's awesome, buddy. Keep it up. Built his first AR, and he's got a Creedmoor as his next build. What's up, Otter? He saw Kevin Roberts. Thanks for showing up.
Just remember, when you build an AR, a liberal cries. It's good. Good work.
That's right. That's how you lubricate it.
E-Rock, bears. Like big, giant, furry bears.
Got some folks trespassing too.
Yeah, unless you're there, it's going to be tough to enforce that. I mean,
that's why you go with bears.
Yeah. Yeah, +5. The teardown's still around. We put it at another location. I needed my shot back.
Yeah. Yeah, that thing takes a lot of room up.
That thing is huge.
It's $135. Elster's got a neat comment there. That I hate to bust in here, but the Wolf 6.5 Grendel is $135 for 500 rounds. Did I read that right?
Yeah, he talks about it in his video, I think.
All right. Hard to go wrong there.
Yeah, that's cheap.
One place for cleaning supplies. Who was that? It was, I think, Conservative Sniper. Nope. Somebody had commented. I don't think it's not in here. Everything is in here, man.
Natchez Shooting Supply. Oh my God, I haven't thought about them in years.
Natchez is one of my affiliates, and I've not sold a thing through them.
All right, get over to Matt's site and buy it through there. And then everybody wins. Shazam. See that?
Gonna need a refill.
That's fixed the problem.
And the thing is I don't buy through them either.
Yeah.
Oh.
What's up, Tim Davis? A lot of great people on there.
It's all shooters.
Well, Brian bought a 6.5 Grindle upper, 1,000 rounds and mags yesterday, ready to give it a go. There you go.
All right. Yeah, Kevin, we have to answer your question about when we're going to take the 6.5 Grindle out to 1,000 yards. We haven't had a chance to get down to the 1,000-yard range. I called down there, and they said it is slammed every day, so we're not even going to fight over that because you can only get it for 2 hours, and that's like eating lunch or something. That's not enough time.
That's the same amount of distance driving there and back. Plus,
Hi.
what's the best spotting scope that y'all suggest? TB. Depends how much dang money you want to spend. Rick, if you had to pick a AK or Tika, what would it be? I picked.
You almost said a cock. What? If you had to pick a I
was thinking of Kai pistols.
Oh, yeah.
2011 pistol. And then I saw Tika.
Which that's what I shoot in competition. That's a great pistol.
Which one do you shoot, Ray?
I have an Akai custom, and I also have an Infinity. It just depends on what I'm shooting, what type of competition. I shoot the Akai faster. It is, I mean, it's stroked. It's got a tungsten sleeve barrel. Shay built them up. He's a great gun builder, and it's, it's fast.
Oh, Elfner's saying that there's some issues with the Nat. I can't ever pronounce this, but Natchez drops the ball with their 10-bit encoded promo codes and shipping kills any deal. Casey says we're going to have 1,000 yards really soon. We shall see.
Yeah, we'll see for sure. As far as the question about spotting scopes, guys, there's a lot of really good spotting scopes out there. You guys know I use the Leupold Mark IV. I really like it, but if you're not going to spend that kind of money and you want something that's bang for the buck, I still have yet to find one that beats that Bushnell Legend something T. I think you can get those for around 400-ish. At one point, you could get them for around 3 something, but it's up armored. It has 3 pick rails all the way around it. You know, if you want to put in a dot or something for sighting, and it has a mill reticle. It's a good setup. It's good glass too.
Okay, not to change the subject, but what's this about a Garand Thumb parody? I've not seen this.
This is good.
I did a Grand Thumb parody, and it was just something off the wall, out of character. And Rick and I were like, "Let's do this." And it took, I don't know, it didn't take us too long to knock it out.
It was good.
All you really have to do is make bad jokes and hold the most expensive rifle on the market that day, and it's a Garand Thumb video.
No, this is better than that.
No, this
is motorcycles and full auto and hell, it was a action-packed freaking video. You can tell Rick's looking for it. He's like,
my God.
What's the best place to find upper builds?
What's your price range?
Yeah, there's the magic question.
I mean, you can go Bear Creek Arsenal, which they make good stuff for super budget. You know, I haven't had anything from them fail yet. And then you can go all the way up from there.
Yeah, like way up from there.
Hey, listen, if I had it to do over again, I would have bought a POF P14, P415 Edge upper from Frank DeSoma and put it on a lower back in the day. That's what I should have done. A POF upper would have cost me a lot of bucks, but absolutely blown away by the quality of his merchandise. It's unbelievable. But you're going to pay.
You're talking about a POF, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have 2 lowers in 308 for that, and I paid an arm and a leg.
I would say
back in the day.
if you're looking for quality without without selling a kidney, you're probably going to go BCM.
I would say Aero Precision's in there too.
Oh, I was going to go Aero, Spikes, BCM.
Yep. Spikes is expensive too. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hard to go wrong though. Like anybody in that tier, like the Arrows, the BCMs, the Spikes, LMTs, a little bit more upper end, they're all really kind of in there for price too. They're real close. And
I'd put LMT way up here.
Yeah, LMT's up on top. Yeah, they make good stuff. Very expensive.
The Sons of Liberty Gunworks, they're up there. Not like I don't know. You get into like super low ball budget stuff, which is like your Bear Creek and Anderson.
Anderson. Oh,
that's freaking awesome. I got it. I can't wait to see it.
I'll tell you what though. I've been running the Sharps XPB in my Radical Firearms AR, and that thing's got about 10,000 rounds through it on the original barrel. Everything, the barrel, the upper receiver are both the original. My brain just kind of fried. Are both the original Radical Firearms. Yep. The bolt carrier group had around 5,000 rounds on it when I switched it out, and I switched it out because Sharp sent me that bolt carrier group to test, and it's phenomenal. And been running it for another 5,000 to 8,000 rounds since then. I mean, for Radical Firearms being budget and getting like 50-50 reviews, I mean, you get that kind of rounds on something without problems.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Hey, let's face it. A lot of people that buy the guns, they buy a budget gun. They want to have a gun. Great. That's awesome. Are they going to shoot them like Ray does? Probably not. You're going to shoot maybe 1,000 rounds a year. The gun will probably last you for the rest of your life, and you probably won't have any problems with it. Or when you do have problems, it's going to be way down the road. Even the Palmetto State Armory stuff is actually pretty decent, right? I've never really had any problems with PSA.
I told a guy today he wanted a 10.5. He likes my 10.5 inch PSA.
Yep. I have a 10.5 PSA.
I told him, get the 10.5 PSA, the same one I have. He really likes it. I said, and then take the money you saved and put a different bolt in it, put a different bolt carrier group in it, and you're probably doing pretty good.
What can you really expect from a 10.5 inch barrel? All it has to do is work.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim, the answer is 2-inch round patch for a 6.5. Let's see.
Really light on questions tonight.
I am tempted with Radical.
I think we're creating plenty of conversation.
Let me have one more rye whiskey, and we'll create plenty more conversation.
Rye whiskey.
That's right. That's right. Swapped over from bourbon, and now I'm working my way through the ryes.
DW 45 auto. We got a couple people. Eagle eye shooting. Stragglers. You guys are stragglers.
Yeah, Kevin Roberts says get a JP. Guys, I've been shooting. There's really only 2 rifles I shoot for competition. That's either Lancer or JP. I am a huge fan of those. However, that would not be my first choice for any type of defensive home protection type AR. That's going to be something completely different. You've got to realize competition is a completely different animal, and you actually have to change mindset when you do that. Your gear is going to be set up differently. The equipment is completely different. Could you do double duty? Of course you could, but it's not going to be the right tool for the job. You're trying to make a Swiss Army knife do all this stuff, and it's not going to do it.
Well, Ray, yeah, that's an excellent point. You're when you're shooting competition, you're out there, you're playing a game.
You're playing a game, trying to win. You know, you're trying to do well, but you're trying to win money, take home prizes.
That's right.
And you know, you're going to have touchy triggers. You're going to have big muzzle brakes. Anything to give you that extra little bit of edge. You might sacrifice a little bit of reliability, and that's where you start to see some issues. I with the JPs and the Lancers, I have, and Rick can tell you this. I mean, he's been to a few matches that I've been in. He's never been to any of the regionals or national level matches. But if you have one malfunction, you've just dropped a ton of spots if you're up there towards the top. So my stuff runs, and I swear by those two names. I really do. John Paul makes a great product. It is pricey. And, you know, I did a JP review on one that I had ordered, and man, I got bashed so hard about, you know, that's a $4,000 AR. You got to understand what it's for. You know,
that $4,000 AR is meant to take home the $40,000 prize table.
Well, it'll bring home money. That's exactly right.
That's it. It's a tool.
Rick knows this. What do I call them? I call them money makers. That's
Sir.
it. That's it. It's not for show. It's for getting the job done.
It's called Black Beauty.
Hey, like somebody always asks me, well, how come you have so many guns? It's like, hey, how come you have so many golf clubs in your golf bag? Every one of them's got a purpose, right?
That's right. That's a
that.
great answer.
I like that a lot. Silver Fox. You'll know that.
So, somewhere Eagle or no, I'm sorry, +5 asked shortest barrel on an AR that you could live with, and I got 7.5 right here.
Oh, you can't show. Oh, it's his upper. He can show that.
I could show that all night long.
Oh,
Hey, hold on. This will be the only time this is correct. This is politically correct. I have one shorter than that. I wasn't going to say mine's shorter. That would be completely wrong.
Is yours smaller? Is yours smaller?
I actually I got in with a company, and it was through SLR Rifle Works, and I did a review on it. And I pulled the review because I got all kinds of just crazy issues with that video, just tons of negative. But I have a 4.5-inch barreled upper. Okay. Now, this
4.5. What's the twist on that?
Shoot, I don't even know.
One and none?
Is that a half twist?
It was purpose built to be a machine gun. It's very, very small. Run an M16 lower on it, and it will go through level 2A, level 3A, no problem. Everybody's like, what's the purpose? You've destroyed it. Okay, well, find something that's a machine gun in a package that small that just drills through body armor. I mean, think about it. And, you know, everybody's like, well, you can't even hit a target at 100 yards. Well, I did it on the video. It was no problem. I'm not talking about energy, but we're talking about shooting 55 grainers, shooting, you know, I've done a lot of ballistics testing. And, you know, you take a 308, you know, hunting rifle, and you can shoot, let's say, a 2A vest. You might get through the front panel. You won't get through the back. You take an AR, 15-inch, 16-inch, and you can shoot 55 grainers, and it's going to drill through the front, back, and keep on going. I don't mean green tips. Now, we're talking about, you're talking about, you know, energy. That's a whole other thing, because you'll probably die from the 308 anyway. It won't matter. But the point is that was a purpose-built gun. It's really, really tiny. Is it practical? Depends on the application. It's like that golf glove. That's all. That's it. And I pulled the video because it was so controversial.
No, you're right. So application is key. So like this Brian out here, he said 7.5-inch AR is nothing more than a loud 22 long rifle. I would invite you to get shot by one. I mean, and let me know how that feels, because I guarantee you that at 100 yards, you're going to die by getting hit from a 5.56 out of a 7.5. I have.
Yeah, absolutely. You're still probably pushing 2,200 feet per second, because I've chronographed a lot of 7.5s and 8-inch barrels, because you can get out of a 7.5 to 8.5 inch barrel, you can get impacts all day long with a red dot out to 200 yards on
Easy.
about an 8-inch steel all day long. But what you're going to get is a lot of armor penetrating capability out of that little short package. It still has a lot of energy, and that's what people don't realize.
Yeah,
hey Jake, thanks for showing up. Jake's from VOD, right?
And I'm not trying to pick on the dude. I'm not trying to pick on the dude, but I hear that shit all the time where people don't know what they're talking about when it comes to barrel lengths and calibers and things like that. I mean, I have this strictly for vehicle work.
Mm-hmm.
I can jump in and out of a vehicle no matter how big or small it is with this on my lower, no problem. A lot easier and better than anybody with a full size AR. And as long as I'm within an urban environment, this is all you need.
Yeah, I mean, and you got a great point, Guns and Gear. And the thing is, I never talk about anything in the past, really. But if you work out of up-armored vehicles or vehicles in general with a long gun, it is a pain in the butt. Yeah. Especially when you're geared up and you're full kit. You got muzzle pointing at your head and everything else because it's cramped space. And sometimes getting into these SBRs is the trick because your engagement's not going to be that far anyway. You're going to be clearing buildings anyway. You know, is a 14 a perfect length? I don't know, man. I really like a 10. 10.5 inch. That's a really good size for do it all.
Yeah.
Well, that raises a really good point. I'll tell you one thing that the Israelis definitely did right was the Tavor for what they do.
Oh, yeah.
Vehicle-borne operations in urban environments, mounting, dismounting, a bullpup makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, C+5. I think he went. I think he was a former Ranger or was a Ranger, and he said 7.5 inch going in and out of Bradleys. If you guys have ever worked out of a Bradley, holy crap! Try to get through the hellhole or anything like that. It's tight, and you're putting a ton of guys in that thing, and there's no space. I mean, it's always a compromise. It depends on what you're doing. That being said, someone asked about AR lengths. It's ironic. I either have 18 or longer on ARs, or I am 10 inches and shorter. I own nothing in that mid range. I think I own one 16-inch AR, and it's a Colt that I never shoot. It's just in the corner.
The question here, what size barrel changes the AR from rifle to pistol? It's less about barrel length and more about total length, but generally speaking, if you go shorter than a 16-inch barrel, you've hit rifle range, unless you're pin and welded like a 14.5 or something like that. Yeah, it just, I mean, a good rule of thumb is if you go shorter than a 16-inch barrel, you're in pistol territory.
You're definitely in NFA territory with a full. If you're running a full sized, stock lower with a the 5-position mil spec tube, and you've got anything under 16-inch barrel on there, overall pinned and welded. You're in a short barreled rifle territory. You got challenges, so you don't want to play that game unless you go with a pistol, and then it's about overall length. When you're talking about pistol, then I think it's 28 inches.
Because
I'm not sure.
The ATF recently changed something on that because of has something to do with the folding stocks or the folding folders. Braces, I mean, the law folders, and so that, of course, people couldn't shut their freaking yaps about it and just leave it go.
Can I make a public service? Can I make a public service announcement?
Yes, do.
Everybody, please stop calling the freaking ATF asking for clarifications. Every time somebody does it,
they ruin it.
It sets the bureaucrats to thinking, and the last thing you want is a bureaucrat to think. When they get bored, they'll screw you.
Let's be honest. You're not going to get a bureaucrat to actually think.
Fair enough, but you know what I'm saying.
That's what happened with the damn arm braces last time. Can I shoulder this?
Somebody out there said, was it Elfster? No.
Jesus.
Skunk Ape.
Shorty. Okay, so when we're talking about that 4.5 inch, think about it. If you want a little small, let's call it a sub gun. whether it's a BNT or an MP5 or something, you're talking about a 9mm round that is not going to go through anything. Okay,
No.
it delivers a lot of energy. This will go through a lot of body armor, and so you never know what you're going to be up against. But this has a use. It's tiny, has a use. Throw a M16 lower on here, good to go. Big pumpkin ball, but
well, look, I'm gonna say something here, and it may or may not ring out, and I think Ray will probably, him and I seem to think a lot alike. We don't really know each other. We're single serving friends here, but let me tell you something. You run into a bad guy, chances are he's wearing level 2 body armor.
2 or 3. They can get it at any gun show. You can buy it.
That's right. That's right. I use level 2 because it will stop every handgun you own and a 12 gauge slug too.
Yep.
I'm not saying they're going to survive the blunt force trauma from a slug,
yeah, exactly.
but it'll stop it. They won't be bleeding, overtly.
Yeah, we're not talking plate carriers or anything like that. We're just talking
soft armor.
Yeah, somebody that means to do harm, soft armor. You got something that's going to go through it that a sub gun won't.
That's right.
Unless you're taking headshots.
Your PCC isn't going to go through it. Your Wonder 9 isn't going to go through it. Your 45 certainly isn't going to go through it. That's one of your only choices. So, that's what you got. Controversial,
and some people
but it's
mention
true.
the 5.7. Okay, so you can't include the MP7A1 because most people don't have that. Yeah, I've got one, but that's completely different. You're talking about something that's very limited quality, but you can get a 5.7 like a P90 or a 5.7 pistol, and that can defeat armor depending on what ammunition you have or whatever. But that round has very little energy. It won't even flip a plate. It's I hate to say it because I do like the 5.7 round, but energy wise, it is identical to a 22 Magnum. Identical.
Oh, dude, I had a knockdown, drag out argument with somebody on Facebook about that, and base guys just said that the 5.7 was an overpriced 22 mag, and did that ruffle some feathers?
Oh, I'm sure it will because they're not cheap. And the thing is, and Eric, you've got a point. You said that face ain't wearing a vest. Shooting at people that are shooting back, it's very, very. It's not very smart to try to take headshots because chances are you're not going to make those shots. When you get to moving and you're being fired upon, it is a completely different story. I've got a lot of friends that are USMC scout snipers, and you ask most of them, how many headshots have you taken? And I've got guys that have been deployed 4 and 5 times, and they're like, none. I want to hit center mass. Most of their engagements are going to be 700 and in. So a lot of the things that I think people see, and I'm not calling you out, Eric. Don't take that the wrong way. It's not directed towards you, but a moving target is hard enough. A moving target that's shooting back at you is even harder. Now to try to hit a moving target and try to hit a small object is even tougher than that. And if you've been in a firefight, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, convey it.
Hey man, when your heart rate's over 200 beats a minute and you're sweating and you get tunnel vision, you got shit in your shorts and bullets are flying and things are loud, you aren't going to hit anything. You better aim for the biggest thing you can see.
You're just trying to get rounds on target.
Yeah, I tell people that all the time. It's like the head is a third the width. 1, 2, 3. The head is a third the width of the body.
The Vitruvian man.
And it fucking does this shit real easy.
What?
But this tends to stay in place.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something else too. And this came up in a chat a long time ago. I think it was when Rick started first doing his chat. Human bodies are very resilient, and they are very resilient to pistol rounds. It's amazing how long a person can survive being hit with a pistol. Andrew, you and I talked about this last night, kind of in our little chat thing. I hear something in the night. Very first thing I'm going for is a long gun. Period. There might be a pistol or two around, but long gun's going to be first choice for me. Period. There's nothing that can, other than a slug or something like that. That does unbelievable damage compared to a handgun.
Well, hey, like the great Clint Smith says, pistols put holes in people. Rifles put holes through people. A shotgun at the right range with the right load removes chunks of shit and throws them on the floor. That's Clint Smith, not me, but we think
Yeah.
alike. So
Yeah, a person's will to live is can be amazing.
You keep yelling at those movies, Todd.
not with a 12 gauge slug in them, Ray.
No. What I'm talking about is people's will to live is amazing. It really is.
Yeah, 80% of people that get shot with a handgun in the torso survive.
Survive. That's exactly right. It's like I think it's 7 out of 9 is the actual FBI statistic on it, or something like that, or 7 out of 10.
It's like it runs right around 80%.
Yeah,
it's pretty amazing.
Well, you don't stick
Think about
around to see if they're dead. You know, if you have to shoot somebody, I mean, barring a war zone, I suppose, but you know, if you're shooting somebody in self-defense, you shoot them and you get the fuck away from them. Like, you don't stick around and go, hey, how does that feel? Are you dead yet? Poke, 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 poke. You know, you put 3, 4, 5, 6, 15 holes in them and get the hell out of there.
Well, you make them
Now-
stop doing what they were doing to get themselves shot in the first place.
yeah. +5. Can you get on that comment there, Rick? It says, I was taught by an old friend when you conceal carry, load the first 1 or 2 rounds with birdshot. I never did it, was always curious. What do you guys think? No, because it's
No.
vision that you are justified in using deadly force. It is because distance is no longer wanted or needed on this earth. Okay, it's not a threat tool. It's not I'm trying to injure you. If you make that conscious decision to pull a pistol on someone, you have to use it. It is because it's the end of the story there. You've crossed that line. You've stepped over that bridge. So I wouldn't put birdshot in there because no, just not me.
Well,
A birdshot is devastating up close out of a shotgun. I mean, unbelievable. But he said concealed carry, so I'm thinking he's talking about the little rat shot. Absolutely not.
bad idea. Very bad idea.
Yeah, if you got buckshot.
Hey man, if you
No, he's talking
worst
about a pistol.
worst comes to worst, and you got to pull a handgun, and you got to verbally challenge somebody, and they don't back down, and you're forced to shoot them. It ain't nothing personal. You just got to do what you got to do, and birdshot's not going to get it done for you.
You can't shoot birdshot out of a pistol and actually have a cycle. I haven't found one yet that does it.
Oh yeah, you're talking about for semi-auto.
They're not reliable.
No, you can't. You can't get them. You can't get it to cycle around.
I've only shot 2, and that's 9mm and 22. That rat shot or that we were talking about the same stuff. But I've never been able to get it to cycle anything. I've shot the 9mm out of a Beretta, a Taurus, and a Glock. Wouldn't cycle any of them. And the 22 I shot out of the G44 and wouldn't cycle it.
No,
They'll cycle out of my 44 special. That's for sure. Anyhow, that one's for you, Ray.
But you don't want to use 1 or 2 rounds of that stuff because then you only got I don't know which one model you got, but you only got a couple left.
You run into the wrong man with the wrong gun, he'll burn you down. Don't worry about capacity.
That's right.
Yeah, someone asked a question about 22 long rifle. You know what?
What time was it?
About shot placement. I've seen a lot of people shot with 22 that didn't make it.
Yeah. Yeah, well placed 22 round.
Hey Ray, you remember what they used the little Beretta 22s for?
Yeah, they were assassin pistols.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't see that question in here.
They will eat you alive with a 22 caliber semi-automatic. You don't stand a chance.
Is it this one? 22 long rifle?
Yeah, +5 said thanks. He thought that was strange too. By the way, got retired with 3 AK rounds, threw me from the back, broke my plate, survived. Only have 2/3 of his heart left. True story. Rifle rounds suck. Well, glad you're still here. Glad you made it. Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your service.
Yeah, rifle rounds, no joke. Really aren't.
Oh, glad you made it, brother.
Night, Elster.
See you, Todd. Thank you again. I appreciate it. I'll return the favor one of these days.
Hollow points for when you want to send them the best.
Yep.
I'd like to weigh in on that one. I don't know. Maybe Ray will maybe agree with me or disagree with me, but I have a medical background as well. And let me tell you something. There's nothing that bleeds worse than an exit wound. And hollow points don't always open up reliably through clothing or heavy winter jackets or at the velocities that most pistols function at. So, and they can be a little tricky on pistols. They don't always work great, and they have some feeding issues. Sometimes I just roll with full metal jackets. I don't know, call me crazy, but they work.
I've heard people that will run basically both. They'll run a mag or they'll mix it up. If they need to get, say you got someone behind cover of some sort of, I don't know, wall of some junk.
Well, let's remember what we're trying to do with a handgun. It's a marginal tool to begin with. There's two things you're counting on to, knock somebody out of a fight. Major structural collapse, which is very difficult to do with a handgun. A central nervous system hit, spine or skull or medulla oblongata, something like that, or hypovolemia.
Yeah, hypovolemia.
Yeah, I see. Well, hypovolemia. I mean, those are the three. Those are your choices. And pistols are very marginal tools at all of those three things. Right, Ray?
Yeah, absolutely. And okay, so I don't run full metal jacket, but there's other reasons we'll talk about afterwards. However, it's one of those, if you're gonna run, and Andrew's completely right. I did a couple tests and everybody complained about the tests and everything else, about shooting it through
those are.
Through Hornady. You didn't do this, you didn't do that. A little bit of drywall, a jacket, that's going to keep most of your hollow points from expanding. It really will.
Yes, it will.
But it will still, at that point, still perform like a full metal jacket. So my biggest thing is whatever you are carrying for self-defense, make sure it feeds reliably in the platform of choice. That is the biggest thing, because you might just end up with a full metal jacket anyway.
Yeah. What do you got there, Matt?
Those are Winchester Rangers is what those are.
Black Talons. Nickel case. No?
Those are Black Talons.
Oh, yeah. The new ones are Winchester Rangers.
Yeah, these are the old Black Talons.
I got some of them. They work. They work like full metal jackets when you go through clothing with them. We tested them.
I carry 124 grain XTPs, Hornady.
They work.
That's pretty much my choice. I've carried others and they work fine. Like Critical Duty, if I can't find the XTPs, because I run through all my defensive ammo about twice a year, and so if they don't have XTPs on the shelf, I run Critical Duty, 135 grain plus Critical Duty.
So Gagabytes, I do want to respond to this because they said they saw that video, and it was myself and Rick did that with Sam there. But what no one saw was we did one that was like 45 minutes long. You remember that day, Rick?
Oh, yeah. We did a lot of testing.
I never posted that video. I never got around to it, and it's gone now. I don't save my videos. Like I said, I do everything on the iPhone. Once I'm done with it, I just delete it. But we tested everything. It was like every type of ammo you could. We were shooting through 30 pieces of sheetrock. We were shooting through ballistics gels. We were putting a huge air gap in it. And what you're going to find out is most of your hollow point ammunition, even if it's got a polymer tip in it, whether it's G2 Gold Dot or the Hornady, all of that stuff, they didn't expand. They just stayed solid. Rick will tell you. I think he saved the bullets.
Yeah, they do real good in ballistic gel tests, which is what you always see on YouTube. You always see these people doing ballistic gel tests without like 3 layers of jeans, or not through wood, or not through a jacket, or a couple cotton t-shirts. It's always just that block of ballistics gel, and sure, they get really good expansion through those. But it's one of the reasons why I see these people on Facebook and online all the time. They're arguing about well, if you look at the ballistics gel test that blah 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 blah, I don't give a shit who they are did. It's like you're talking about like the absolute best scenario you can possibly think of.
Well, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you were attacked by ballistics gelatin? Naked.
You should see some of my ex-girlfriends.
Ooh.
Oh, jeez.
Fair enough. All right, moving on.
No,
Yeah, so someone mentioned the Barnes. Now, I will tell you, we did test some of the, I think they call them ASIM. I think ASIM makes that bullet the full copper, and that actually expanded pretty darn well. I did one video on that with, I think, Corey, and we just didn't have a chance to check that against barriers, basically. So, that's one of those that needs revisiting. We only had a few rounds of that, but I have heard some really good stuff about that.
Ray would know. Ray would know what I'm talking about.
It fills up that hole, Casey, and then turns it into a full metal jacket, basically.
Yeah,
Ray will know what I'm talking about. Hold on, guys. Ray will know what I'm talking about. Do you remember the old cylindrical bullets?
The
airfoils.
Yes. Matter of fact, I showed Rick one the other day. I've got one.
Oh, those things are. There's
Actually,
a reason why they're nasty. That's why you're not really supposed to have those.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyhow.
Yeah, well, I can't find them anymore. I think I lost them.
Some sick bastard stayed up late at night thinking about that one.
Yeah. Rick, that was that round I was showing you.
Which one?
That one.
Thanks again, brother, for doing that. He says, so y'all agree 22 long rifle is good for home defense, ? Fast shots with no recoil. More economy stimulus. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, other than my only concern about that is you really need to use reliable ammunition, a higher end like a CCI, I don't know, Stinger or something. Don't just throw some regular old whatever's in there. Just because
spend that extra cent around now.
Yeah, exactly.
I like the Winchester Hypervelocity.
Yeah, I mean, just whatever it is, just go ahead and use something that's got a little bit of crack to it. But yeah, it's good.
Are you talking about these things?
No.
No.
Go back to sleep, Rick.
No, those are the new.
What's the round you showed me the other day?
It was the one where I was showing you. Never mind. We cleaned up the shop the other day, and we were finding stuff everywhere. And he probably doesn't remember.
Oh, the silver one with the big ass hole in it, right?
Similar, yeah.
Okay.
It was a whole big jar of stuff I was showing you. But anyway.
Gotcha.
Oh my God. Skunk ape, gross. Okay.
It's looking pretty good.
Dangers.
Hey, some people have been locked down for a minute, so skunk ape, you do you, man.
You do you. And I mean,
whatever you got to do to get through the day. Just make sure you dig all the shards out from the hollow point first.
Oh, this will be a good argument. Let's do this one: steel or brass casing.
Oh, don't even get me started.
I don't do steel anything.
And Matt does steel.
I do steal everything.
Everything, man.
I don't think it matters. I think as long as you're willing to pay the consequences that come with either, you're fine. Whatever you can afford to shoot, go shoot.
Home defense from squirrels, maybe.
Funny story about that. I'll tell you another time.
I think it's time for bed. Gagabat says, have a good night. Stay safe.
We'll see you.
Yeah, DW. Yeah, DW. I haven't had a cigarette since August, and it's the only thing keeping me sane right now. So it helps.
That's how I did it, man. It's been since December 2018 for me.
Very good.
Yeah, so then that's how I did it. I went by let's see, October or November of last year of 2019. So just short of a year, I was down to 0 nicotine. And now I don't even, I mean, it's sitting on my shelf, my bookshelf. I don't remember the last time I charged it or took a hit off of it,
Yep.
So, I mean, done. It works.
That's the glide path I'm on too.
Yep.
That's where we're headed. Yeah.
And Bad Billy, yes, I am all about cheap ammo. I shoot a lot of ammo, and so I got to buy it as cheap as possible.
That's the way to do it.
I don't put cheap ammo in for self-defense. My optics are sighted in on good ammo. Like my pistol red dot, my Venom is sighted in on Hornady 124 grain. But yeah, I mean, I shoot tens of thousands of rounds of that stuff every year, and works good. Looking at the steel. So Eagle Eye Shooting says, looking into steel camo for cost, steel case ammo for cost. So here we go. In 5 years, I did the math the other day. Based on 15 cents a round, which is not the cheapest I've ever bought steel case 9mm, but it's been the average for the past couple years. The cheapest I think I've ever paid for steel case 9mm in the last 5 years was 11 cents. It might have been a little less than that, but I don't remember. Based on how much I shoot in the last 5 years, not only could I have bought another case of ammo, I could have bought another Glock 19 in just what I saved. And so even if the steel case was as destructive as,
I love how we do gun math to buy another gun. I love that.
but even if steel case was as destructive as what people say it is, like with replacing extractors, replacing barrels and chambers and stuff like that, I could have bought 1,000 extractors in that amount of time.
Hey Ray. Hey Ray, let me ask you a question. In all of your travels and whatever, and you see in all the AKs and PKMs and RPDs and Dishkas and all that business, how many extractors have you seen broken?
None.
They all shoot steel ammo. All of them.
Yeah.
Zero.
And what you always get is you get people that share that one Lucky Gunner test. That one test from fucking Lucky Gunner that's see, it's worse than brass. Like, you took one test from, I mean, it just, oh my God.
It is hard on if your AR is shucking out backwards, it is hard on the finish. That's why you put a little piece of electrical tape over the gun.
So Plus Five says, would steel case wear the chamber out any quicker? Just wondering. It's not the chamber. I was trying to I had the test. It was a very, very exhaustive test done. Maybe you've seen it, Andrew, where they started with 5 identical, I think they were Bushmaster rifles. And they actually shot them, logged everything, accuracy from the beginning all the way to the end. They used XM193. They used, whatever ammo. It was all the same. And they just kept going and going and going. And what you see is most of your steel case uses a bimetal. And what it was doing is they were showing the gas port area in the barrel, and the erosion out of steel cased ammo just completely destroyed it, along with the accuracy. Now, I think it was a 10,000 round test, and when they were done, they actually cut the entire rifles in half from the action all the way forwards. So it's not so much that you're hurting. Okay, he made a good point. Matt said, you can buy a ton of extractors. I get that. But the barrels, because I do shoot premium barrels and almost everything, that's why I personally don't shoot steel case. I have no steel case ammo. I
don't blame you. So guys like you, right?
Yep.
Who do shoot premium everything with their guns. Mm-hmm. Premium barrels, premium guns, generally speaking, especially long range stuff. I don't blame you one bit, and I would never argue. I would never, ever argue the steel case versus brass, because we're coming from two different points of view.
Right? Correct.
Yeah.
That bimetal jacket will tear stuff up. It will.
But I have a Glock sitting right here that's got 20,000 rounds of 9mm steel case on it, and I would like somebody to show me the accuracy loss in it.
The Glock is the cockroach of the gun world. It's going to be the only thing left after the nuclear holocaust. They just, you can't. I have 185,000 rounds and counting out of my Glock 17 with the original barrel. It still shoots fantastic. You can't hurt it. I just changed the springs.
Yeah, see, +5 hits right on the head. He was curious because the government likes to be cheap with equipment. I figured they would use steel Ks if it was cheaper to buy, but I think they've done enough testing on their own to show that they've got to make these weapons last, not for just this group, but this group, but this. How many times is that thing going to change hands? It's got to still work, and they don't want to rebarrel everything all the time. Now we're talking about rifles. I'm not talking about pistols.
Yeah, well, I'm talking also that cheap Radical Firearms. That barrel is the same barrel, nitrided barrel that came on that $499 AR. It's got a little over 10,000 rounds through it, and well over half that is well over half that, probably close to the full amount is steel case 223 Wolf usually. I'm not saying it's good for the gun. And I'm not saying that it's not worse than brass. It's what I don't like is the people that say, "Oh, if you shoot steel case, you're gonna blow your gun up, and it's not gonna be any good anymore." And it's like most of the people that say that don't shoot enough to have it matter anyway.
Yeah.
Well, pick your poison.
All right. Does anybody know the answer to this question?
Nope.
Okay, so I've got a bunch of tap ammo downstairs, but I don't know if they've changed it up or not. The tap ammo that I've got was actually made for shooting through windshields in cars out of precision rifles. I don't know what this 6.5 Creedmoor 147 ELD match tap is. And typically on the tap that I had experience with, because I shot through a lot of automobile glass, it was a bonded bullet. It stayed together, didn't fragment, so you could get more bullet on target. But I don't know anything about this match tap that you're asking about.
Andrew.
Yes, sir.
You said you had like 130,000 rounds in your G17.
185.
185. So like the last Glock that I sold was a Gen 2 G19. It was the first Glock that I bought. And it had close to 50,000 rounds on it. And the frame to slide fitment was getting really, really loose. I had changed trigger springs on it twice. And I never did, or did I change recoil spring once? I can't remember. But I sold it because it started sounding like a 1911. It was just.
Oh, that's when you know they're going to work good.
Yeah, right.
That's all.
Yeah, I sold it.
I'm not having any fitment problems after all those rounds. I'm a big believer in grease.
I like grease.
Grease.
Yep.
And what I do is I grease the ways on that Glock 17, and I grease the crap out of it. I use AMSOIL red spray grease in a can. You spray it on a 3x5 card, and you let it harden up a little bit, and you goop it right in there, and it's perfect. And I've done that since the day that I've had the gun. I've never had a problem with it. Rick, does your Tika have a gas port on it? That would be a bolt action rifle.
Yeah, the only gas port's the one at the end where the bullet comes out.
The only gas port in Rick is blow his belt. So DW says you must have been shooting that thing in your sleep, 50,000 rounds, LOL. That's not uncommon round count for people that shoot a lot. I mean,
no.
I do that in 5 years, 50,000 rounds.
There was a point at which I was shooting 60,000 rounds a year in practice.
Yeah, a lot of competitive shooters blast through big numbers.
Yeah,
I was shooting 5,000 rounds a month.
Yeah, shit. As much as I've been shooting lately, I've been shooting the same.
Jesus, I got Popeye arm for running the 650.
I shoot about 10,000 rounds a year, between 10 and 13 in that area.
Yeah, that's where I'm at these days.
Yeah.
Is an AR a bolt from Gigabytes 2020? No. I guess surplus 1911 sounds like one of Rick's rattle cans. Hey,
Rick, do you mind me showing a real gun on here?
I don't really care, honestly.
Okay. So here, let me take the mag out so people don't accuse me of being unsafe and shit.
how you know they're good? Just like Grandma made in the Singer sewing machine factory.
1947, 1911, 38 Super.
Where was that one made?
It's super, huh?
It's a Colt.
Grandma didn't make that one.
Yep, this is a Colt 38 Super 1911. It was my grandpa's.
Cool gun.
Yeah.
38 Super is
It's a cool round. It's an expensive round, but it's a cool round.
well, it is the old equivalent of the 357 SIG.
Yeah, Tim says they're called training aids. It's not GUNs.
No,
There you go.
stunt gun.
I like that. Let's see, don't zinc fumes will make you crazy to me.
LZ USA. How many magazines did you guys wear out shooting thousands of rounds? I've worn out some.
I would just wear out the springs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some. I mean, not a lot, but some.
In the original Glock magazines, you would put a dent in the follower where the slide stop would contact the follower on an empty magazine, and after a while, you would have to replace the follower and the spring because the gun wouldn't hold open anymore. It would just ride forward on an empty mag. That's how you knew that the mag was bad, and you had to do maintenance on it.
Gigabytes. I thought I thought an AR had gas ports.
It does. The bolt
What was
carrier-
the other
carrier
question?
has gas ports. But I thought they were asking if his Tika had gas ports.
They did.
Just one.
Yeah, but most of your ARs are going to have what you can call dual exhaust, and it's basically the bleed off from the bolt when it goes to the rear. You can actually see the rings through it. Not all of them will have that, but almost all of them will. None of your piston guns will have that. Most piston guns don't even have gas rings.
The POF does.
Yeah, it depends. Like I said, LMT, they don't run gas rings.
Nope.
POF, they will.
Barrett does not.
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason as why they're putting them in there on some of these piston guns.
You take them out, and they're just fine.
Yeah.
Then you look at something like an AK gas piston, and it's got the three.
While we're at it,
it's got the grooves in it, like they're supposed to be rings there or something, but there's nothing there.
This is a great topic right here.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so how many people that are listening have actually taken a pick or something and tried to get their gas rings so they're not aligned? You know, the little slits.
That's how
because people have done it. I've seen people do it, and it's like you don't need to do it. It's triple redundancy. An AR will actually work off of one gas ring, and when you put your bolt carrier group into the carrier, it actually closes that gap. It's a solid ring at that point. Because this topic comes up quite a bit. Oh, I run McFarland. It's a one-piece gas ring. That's great, but I mean, an AR will
not
work.
Necessary.
It's not necessary.
So I installed gas rings. I installed gas rings at the 1, 6, and 10 o'clock locations. And I do this out of habit from a decade of building engines and having to do that with the piston rings on an engine.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with it.
It's a habit thing. It's a habit. Whenever I put rings on something, that the gaps aren't supposed to line up. It's a habit thing. I know it doesn't have to be that way, but it's a habit thing, and I still do it today to even ARs.
There's a great question here. DW is asking, why are there different size gas ports on ARs? Well, how much gas do you need to properly cycle the gun? Number one. What weight buffer are you running? What's your desired What's your desired recoil impulse? There's any number of different reasons. You want to run about 20% more gas than it takes to run the gun, in my opinion, for better reliability. The less gas you run through the gun, the less felt recoil of the devastating recoil that is 5.56, right? That's why there's different size ports. Depends on the length of the gas tube, the weight of the buffer, the length of the barrel, any number of different things. There are different size gas holes. And
If you're shooting suppressed,
what's that?
If you're shooting suppressed.
If you're shooting suppressed and too much slide speed, and if you overgas a gun, you can override the extractors and cause type 2 malfunctions. Any number of different reasons. Adjustable gas blocks are, if you're going to build a gun and you're going to put a free float handguard where you can get to it, I love an adjustable gas block. That's my opinion, and I'm sure I could be convinced otherwise, but I hope that answers your question.
I think one of the things is, and correct me if I'm wrong, is just my experience, that unless you're talking about higher end barrels, you're talking about an oversized gas port anyway.
Most guns are overgassed.
Most guns are overgassed anyway. I the last thing I ever think about is if it's the size of the gas port. I just assume it's already overgassed.
Yeah. So you hit it right on the head, Andrew. Of course you did. But rifle for competition, we shoot rifle length gas systems. It's going to be your softest recoil impulse. And then you can dial it back. I don't dial it back a whole lot if I've got an adjustable gas block, which most of the JPs are going to have. Most of your higher end competitions guns are going to have. But the problem is you start getting into where you're shooting 77 for long range or 69s, and all of a sudden you drop a 55 in there to just punch paper at close in a base stage. If you don't have that thing tuned just right, you're going to have a problem with that rifle. Mm-hmm. So that was the first thing I wanted to address. Rifle length gas system, softest recoil impulse. As far as the JPs, so these $4,000 JPs, actually they can get up a little bit more than that, believe it or not. But you're not talking about something that's, I mean, call it excessive. We're talking about like a CTR02, where you've got a billet matched upper and lower. It's got, surface ground sides on it. It has a barrel that's cryogenically treated. It's their super match with heat sinks around the barrel to draw heat away from it. It has a monster gas block. They won't run a 3/4 inch gas block on most of those. Most of those are going to be bigger than that. They're going to be, instead of the 0.75, they're the 0.92, no, 93, I can't remember. It uses a 6-bolt system, integrated brake. I mean, you're talking about something that's excessive, but it can make you money if you're good enough. If you're just buying it just to buy it, then, just build you an AR. You'll probably be just as good. But I don't know. I like
lots of fun to shoot, though. They are so much fun to shoot. When you shoot one of those guns that is balanced and it is tuned, and the brass is just dropping right out of it, and you can't even feel it, and you're on that roller trigger that JP makes. Lots of fun to shoot. Oh, so much fun.
And the thing is, when you can double tap a target as soon as it comes into the sight picture, whether you're on a dot or a scope, and because like in 3-gun, I hate to say it, you can be a little sloppy. It's 1 in the center or 2 anywhere, okay? Anywhere, okay, as long as it breaks the perf. But when you get a gun like that, you are literally pulling the trigger as fast as you see the target come into the frame. They're there. Rick, how many times have you seen me not get 2 on paper? It's rare that I don't shoot a clean match. When I shoot a match, it's all about time. Okay, that's what it really comes down to: how quick you can get in and out of position, and how fast you can engage those long range targets. Now, with 3-gun, you got to be good at all 3 platforms. You have to know and play to your strengths. I'm a really strong pistol shooter. However, I learned early in the game, it doesn't matter how good of a pistol shooter you think you are, you're never going to be able to outrun a shotgun if you're not going to have to do a reload on steels. It's been proven time and time and time again. I mean, I've got to show up that are master class. USPSA shooters. And I'm like, dude, that's shotgun and then go to pistol. No, I want to shoot it all pistol. I was like, dude, you're going to lose time. No, and I know who you are. You're going to lose time. And that shotgun will win every time. Every time. Rick's seen it because, a lot of guys, they want to rely on that pistol. Man, I got 22 rounds. Yeah, but the thing is, you're going to take 2 or 3 at some of those steels because they're 4-inch steels. They're 20 yards away. Shoot the shotgun.
Shotgun always wins, man. That's all I'm saying.
We did this race one time.
What's that?
We did this race one time.
Yeah, see, I don't even recall that, but and I don't want to call people's names out here because there are some, because they might be listening, whatever. But these guys are really strong pistol shooters, and I can hang with them on the pistol, but I'm like, dude, it's the wrong gun for this stage right here. And they're like, nope, I can do the reload. I said, even if I do one shotgun reload, I can still probably clean it faster than you're going to do the pistol if you go 1 for 1. And inevitably, it usually works out that way.
It's a game.
Yeah.
It's a game. It's a game.
It is a game.
Tenths and hundredths of a second.
There's no aiming involved. Once you get that, once you understand the choke patterns, and let's say you're using a spreader or whatever, it depends on the distance, and hey, I'm going to hit that steel. As soon as you get that bead and you're coming across it, it's you're pulling it, and you're going to the next one. You're not having to stop for a second.
Nope.
Even the open class shooters, with 170 millimeter mags and a dot, it is hard for them to stay up with a shotgun. Unless you have to do a dead foot reload or something, then that's a whole different story.
Hard to beat a shotgun, man.
Yeah.
It's a great weapon too.
Well, I'll tell you what, shotgun in the right hands is unbelievable. But when you're shooting a match-tuned guns, and somebody mentioned in the comments here, what's the military's objective? Do they care about quality, or is it just match shooters? I can't find the comment that we've passed it. The answer is everybody should care about quality, right? And match shooters care about speed. Military cares about long-term durability and reliability and functionality. Competition shooters care about speed, nothing but speed. And maybe I'm wrong, but speed wins the race, speed and accuracy.
Okay, does military, I found it, Red October posed the question, does military care about high-end, or is it just competition shooters? That's it. It really depends. If you're somebody that's with Delta, or you're with 3rd group or 5th group, you're going to have access and be shooting different equipment than your normal infantry guy, okay, or your cav guy. It's going to be completely different. They have different requirements for things that they do. You know what? Never mind. I can't even go there.
And they can pick whatever they want.
I will just say I've been in some of the highest end armories in the world, and the access to the equipment they have is unfreaking believable. MP7s here, 416s here. Okay, well, this has got, low power variable optics. This has red dots. It depends on what the mission is.
Who are we going to go mess with today?
+5 says military prefers durability and consistency, in his opinion. Yeah, they need durability and consistency because their maintenance program fucking sucks.
Yeah, I was with a bunch of 3rd group guys here recently, and they had some M110s, and they were like, dude, these things are ragged out. I was like, why don't you rebarrel them? It's like, they just won't. These things barely shoot 2 minutes.
Pick up a reissued a Beretta M9 or something. Oh my god, that thing's this thing, it rattles like a 1911, but it sounds like the tin cans that are being drugged behind your car on a wedding day. Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
That's one of the things that really sticks in my side is a lot of people who don't know, and a lot of people will pick on, the Beretta, this goes for the Berettas, the M4s, anything the military has. Oh, the Berettas are a crap weapon. I had one and it was just junk and it didn't shoot. Okay. Well, they never took care of it properly.
It's got a billion rounds through it, and
it's got a billion rounds through it. And it's old. It was military issue in 1984.
Every 18-year-old that knew nothing about guns was issued that freaking same pistol that you're complaining about today.
But I'll tell you one thing about those guns.
That's why they don't shoot steel case ammo.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about those guns. They still work. They're not the greatest things in the world, but they work. They went to the SIG 320. God bless them. Good luck. I hope it works out for them. You know, whatever.
So,
what's up, SoCal?
Real quick, I want to answer Hitting Steel. Hitting Steel CA said, Matt, did Magpul contact you yet? No, surprisingly, they have not. I'm expecting that phone call any day now.
What's wrong with Magpul?
Oh no, I reviewed their Glock. Their Glock Magwell. Magwell. And God, is that thing a piece of junk?
I didn't even know they made one.
Yeah, don't bother. Like,
yeah,
it won't take half the mags that I have. They won't seat because of the Magwell.
Yeah, two questions here. One of them was he sees a ton of guys put a ton of crap on their AR. I don't have any ARs with a ton of crap on them. They might be specific to a certain purpose. Like if one's going to be just for dark use, it's set up completely different than one that's there for home defense. You know, it's like, well, if I had a home defense AR, I'd have, I'd have my night vision, I'd have my PEC on there, I'd have all of it. It depends on what you're using it for. I mean, that's the thing. I will tell you there was another question by Red October about the weight. Most of my competition ARs are not light. They are heavier guns. Because most of them have 18-inch barrels. I've never subscribed to. I have some buddies that are pretty competitive as well, and they shoot a lot of 16 or pendant welded like 14, and some change barrels. Oh, you can move it so much quicker. It's lighter. Well, yeah, you probably can, but I'm going to go 1-for-1 on the long range all the way out to 500, and those are failure to engages with huge penalties because the further you get in distance, they do a penalties greater than 100 or miss on steel greater than 200. So they're weighted differently. And Rick will tell you when it comes long range on the AR, yeah, it's making that hit and going to the next one.
Well, the only thing that drives me nuts about people with a bunch of shit on their AR is half the people that do it don't know how to use that crap that's on their AR.
Correct.
Like Absolutely. They've never been through a low light course,
right?
And they got a light on their rifle. They know they go ahead.
Okay, in my humble opinion, and everybody's got opinions, obviously. Two things belong on a rifle that you're going to use perhaps in your home. One of them is a good white light, and the other one is some kind of flashlight, white light, whatever.
Yep.
And yeah, I get there's tactics on, off, up, down, in and out of the target. My philosophy of use and my concept of operations is if I pick the gun up in the middle of the night, it's going to have a light on it. All of my ARs have a light, a white light.
Amen.
All
you
of
have
them.
To be able to identify what you're shooting at.
I'm not shooting little Johnny in the hallway, okay? Not that I have a little Johnny, but whatever. And Rick knows my other security device will give me kind of a heads up, and he's right here saying hello. But
yeah, that'll do it for sure.
You got to have a white light on your gun. And if you know how to use it, all the better. But my philosophy of use is if I'm grabbing that gun and it's dark in my house, that light's going on and staying on. And somebody says, well, you're going to be a bullet bagged. No, not really. That's not how that works.
No, that's not how that works. And
not even at all.
And the next thing they say is first you're giving away your position, right? Well, you should have given away your position when you said, get the fuck out of my house. I'm calling the cops.
That's right. Get out of my house. You're scaring me.
Yeah, you should have given away your position then. If you didn't do that, all that tells me is that you think you're Johnny Rambo and you're going to clear your house and gun some dude down.
Nope. I'm not leaving my bedroom. Nope.
So that's number one. Number two, but you're going to point your gun at your kids when you shine your light on them, and oh my God, you don't know anything about how to use a light, do you?
Wow.
Like this whole theory that you're going to muzzle somebody just because you have the light on them.
I'd rather muzzle somebody with a light and know who they are before I pull the trigger.
Strobes are for dance clubs.
Yes.
Yeah, I hate it. I have never used a strobe for anything. Okay, so two things. Okay, so back in the day, I taught a ton of AR classes. Okay, to all different types of people, and there's two things: bad lovers, coupled mags. I'm not against them, but you better train with them. Okay, if you show up and you've got that on there, it's like, have you trained with it? Yes. All right. Well, I'm going to see if throughout the day, how many times you close that bolt inadvertently, or how many times you drop that coupled mag, forgetting that you had one coupled to it. It happens time and time and time again. If you're going to have it, train with it. If it's going to make it that much faster to close the bolt, and you want a bad lever right there in your trigger guard where your finger is, and you're going to inadvertently hit it, fine, but you better train with it, because it's going to happen at the most inopportune time, and then now you're going to drop it when you didn't mean to.
I'm a big fan of coupled mags.
Yeah, as long as you train with it. Oh, you and I had this last night. We changed pictures. I like coupled mags as well, but you got to train with it, and you also need to put it into practice. How many times have I seen guys that have coupled mags, and when they have it inserted on the right hand side, it flips up the dust cover and now blocks the ejection, and now they have malfunctions because of it, or they can't seat it because the door is jamming into the top of the magazine.
Because they loaded them the wrong way.
Correct. Train with it.
You got to train with it. You got to make sure it works. You got to make sure, learning stuff in the middle of a gunfight's no place to be, right?
Well, you learn a lot about yourself in the middle of a gunfight, though.
Bad lover.
True. Bad lover.
Oder Sigurdsson said, novice question, with the light on, are you not then more visible? That goes back to visible or not. They should know exactly where you're at when you yelled at them to get out of your damn house.
Yep. And in my case, I'm probably going to have to rescue somebody from an 85-pound Schützen trained German Shepherd, but that's okay.
And there's that.
Yeah. He's just a little fella.
Armament Axe says, have you guys ever been strobed in the pitch black?
Yes.
Yeah, accidentally hitting the butt. Yeah. But it doesn't mean I can't shoot at it.
Bad lover, not bad lover. Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
That bad lever is just a neat damn thing if you really know how to use it. What a great little gizmo for $23 to put on your gun.
I've heard that.
I keep rubbing my eyes because I was cutting grass today, and man, the pollen is heavy. But yeah, my eyes itching. I'm using the back of my hand.
All right, make sure you get the thumbs up.
We're in the pollening right now, Ray. Oh my God.
And of course, I'm sitting outside on the porch. So.
Oh well, at least you can't. It's chilly here tonight.
The warm weather, because Sunday it's supposed to get down to freezing here.
Yes.
It's supposed to be like 105 here on Sunday.
That's too damn hot, man. Thanks, Art.
That's what it was on Saturday. I was out in body armor all day long, and it was like 105, 106 out there.
Well, catch
Andrew,
this.
I think you might have heard this. You might have heard this on the chat that we had. I don't know. It's probably, I don't know. Rick does so many chats, I can't keep up with them. But
you did more than I have in the last week.
Well, that's because you're with me. You were over here and I was like, let's do a chat, Ray. My internet's out.
Let me show you something, Ray.
That's why he's been gone. He's been MIA. He's had no internet.
Yeah, my freaking dumbass water guys cut my line.
But I think I mentioned this. I was actually teaching an agency a patrol rifle class, like a 5-day course. And the very first day, I look and I'm like, dude, what is that? And he said, what are you talking about? I said, rack your charging handle. And we're in a classroom setting before we get on the range, right? He racks his charging handle. I was like, you didn't even get the charging handle halfway back. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, because you have an extra mag pouch mounted to your stock, and you cannot pull your charging handle back all the way to get around into the chamber. I said, take that crap off of your rifle. And I'm like, are you serious? I mean, it's amazing what you see. So yeah, that struck a nerve when somebody said all this crap people put. Hey, it's fine. You better train with it. You better make sure it works.
So when you do a long range patrolling class, Ray, when you teach a long range patrolling class, I got a question for you.
Okay.
I prefer to teach those in more of an orienteering way than an actual because I always mix a long range patrolling class with like a navigation course.
Okay.
Like land nav.
Land nav. Yeah, exactly.
I prefer to do that with like orienteering over grid map type land nav.
I was actually going to do a video on that and have all the cards, show the overlays, you know, and I said, you know what? How many people are actually going to be interested in that watch my channel? But there might be more than I realized. So that's the whole thing. But yeah, no, land nav first, because you got to know where you're going or how to get there. But your next question?
Well, no, it was when I do a long range patrolling thing, I always do land nav with it. But as opposed to the normally taught like grid map, protractor, topo map, I like to do a lot of the orienteering instead, where it's more what you see around you and a compass versus getting your head down and drawing an azimuth and setting a course that way.
Yeah, we always start off with the grid map first. That's what we do, you know, because especially being up here in the mountains, it's a little different. I mean, land nav is a little. It was different than, let's say, you're in the desert, right? Where are you at?
Yeah, Tucson Desert.
Yeah, you're in Tucson. I'm in the mountains here, and so topographs help a lot. I mean, because you know a lot of visual stuff is really easy, whereas for you out there, it's flatland for the most part. You do have mountains.
We got a shitload of mountains.
You got a ton of mountains, but it is going to be different when they're out there 500 yards or 5 miles away. But now you're in a valley or something, you can see the ridges and everything else. It changes, I guess, based on your area. It's the same principles.
Yeah.
But grid map first, and then we'll do orienteering outside. Typically, we'll place objects, and you have to find them as a team.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Well, now here with all the trees, you can't tell which direction you're even in once you get in the canopy.
Well, once you get in the canopy, yeah, then it changes everything.
Well, that's when you really got to, rely on your compass a little bit more. Get some high ground and go off of where the sun's at. I mean, all that different things when it comes to that. But when you get in the canopy, you're pretty much looking down at your compass and.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to navigate.
Gagabyte said, "Can we get Rick in on this chat? He's the freaking host."
I put on there. I'm having a good time listening.
Okay, I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna shut up. I talk too much. That's my problem.
No, it's all good.
Well, Ray, you and I are talking about some things like earlier when I asked about dynamic versus deliberate entry and things like that. Those are things that people on these chats tend to not talk about much. And when it comes to land nav and orienteering,
or haven't done it. There's a lot of people I think that have, and I don't want to, man, I don't want this to sound wrong, but there are a lot of people that have chats that don't have the experiences that this panel has. Plain and simple. And what you don't want to do is pretend you know something that you haven't ever done. Or done in real life.
Or sometimes there are certain people you don't want to give certain pieces of knowledge to because you just don't know who the hell they are.
We discussed that. So,
yeah,
back when Sam and I were teaching a lot, we had a lot of people that wanted us to teach building tactics, entry, things like that. And there's certain things that you just don't teach. And we were like, no, that's really more law enforcement, police related training. We're a security team for a church, or they call them security detail. Yeah, okay, we'll teach you how to pie a corner, but we're not going to teach you as a team how to clear this church. If you want to do that and find another instructor that wants to do it, great. But we shied away from that.
Yeah, you just don't know. You just
No,
don't know who.
No, you
Well,
never know. I mean, anybody can go crazy, but
I can't think
you
of the
don't
last
want them to
time.
know the tactics.
I can't think of the last time I saw a chat where anybody was talking about long range patrol classes, orienteering, or land map. I don't remember the last time a compass was brought up in conversation ever.
Most people don't know how to use them.
You know,
Ask Rick how many compasses does it have hanging up in the basement.
Yeah,
Hey,
too damn many. There's at least 7.
I mean, how many people know what? How many people know what a protractor is? You know, how many people
How to use one?
right here?
You know, how many people know? How many people know what like a civilian grid map that you buy at the gas station? What those latitude and longitude lines normally are? Because they're not the 1/50 that you have in your military compass or your military protractor.
See, in the fire department, we had to teach a lot of that as well. And that
I guess
was
I'm just old school.
find your way back. Oh, there you go.
That's way old school. I'm not even talking about that.
I still use them.
I'm talking about the map protractor.
Oh, I get that. Yeah, I know that, but I got all that stuff too.
Those talks bring me back to my Marine Corps days. Very cool.
Tim Davis grabbing my Lensatic now. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many of those I have. I got 5 or 6 of them.
I always keep a compass. You know, we go hiking on the Appalachian Trail all the time, and I take the compass with us. And I just let since my daughter was little, here's a compass. Which way are we heading? Which way? How do we get home? Where are we going? Those kinds of things. Teach these kids. Nobody teaches this stuff anymore. It's simple. It's not hard. Read a map. Learn how to read a topo map. They don't teach these kids anything anymore in school. They teach them how to take a test.
Everything's on a phone now.
If you guys want a good topo map, mytopo.com, you can do custom ones. That's where I buy all mine.
Most fun I've ever had was planning a hike with my brother. I don't know, Rick, I don't know if you know this. I do a lot of backpacking. And the most fun that I've had in a long, long time was planning a backpacking trip with my brother. And the most fun we had was the planning stage, getting out the maps and checking out the topo maps and doing the distances and planning the whole trip out. It was like lay out the map and get out the tools and the protractors and the whole 9 yards and start measuring and the rolling measure and get the compass out. And we had so much fun doing that stuff, and I think that's kind of a lost bit of fun. So,
Well,
it's a
you
lot
can
of fun.
set up a fun thing.
Uh-oh.
You got a
And
family.
we lost them.
Rick went to vapor lock.
Am I back?
You're back.
I'm back. Yeah, it's setting up a game, and you take your family out and make a big circle and you find something, have fun with it where they got to learn, especially if they're young.
I like taking my son out to the middle of the woods and giving him a bottle of water and
leaving him.
Say, find your way back, boy.
When you come back, you'll be a man.
Hey, I got a question for you guys, and I don't know the answer to this. So, say you don't have a compass, right? And you have a little thin piece of metal, and you have a leaf, right? And you put it in the water. What end's going to go north? The thicker end of the metal, or
the one that's magnetically charged?
So you have to magnetically charge it first. It won't just do it by itself.
It's got to be a magnet.
Yep, you can build up some static charge depending on what clothing you have by rubbing it on your clothing.
Rub it.
Okay. Yeah. So what end will be north then?
Hard to tell. You gotta take into account more than one factor, I would imagine. If you're blind in the middle of the woods, you got to look for the sun. Where is it?
It's going to tell you north and south.
North and south. That's it.
It's going to tell you north and south. You got to decide at that point which way east and west is by what time
by
of
the
day.
sun.
Oh, Audit Everywhere has a good comment. Okay, so how many of you guys here on this panel have done geocaching?
Yep.
I have done a ton of it.
Me too, a ton of it. And you know, if you've got kids, that is a great way to spend time with them. It really is. Yeah. You know, don't pick a really hard one that, you know, sit here and you got to look over there and find the third number and that's the first coordinate on your latitude. I mean, those can take forever, but it's amazing some of the stuff that you can find in places that you'll see that you didn't know existed because of those geocache sites. It's really cool.
So Gagabytes says moss on the right side. There's a certain amount of the moss thing that is true, but a certain amount that's not. It depends on where you're at in accordance to the equator. Because the sun, if you live in the northern hemisphere, the sun is always to the south of you just a little bit. And the farther north you go, the farther the sun is south to you. So you get up in like Washington State and things like that, and you're going to have a little bit different outcome with that moss than you are, say, in Missouri, you know, or Texas. Like here we don't have moss because it's not wet, but we have something called barrel cactus. And if you have a field of barrel cactus, not just one or two, because you can't go by those, but if you have a bunch of barrel cactus that are all leaning the same way, that they're leaning north.
North. Yeah.
Most dicked up I ever got was in the Adirondack Mountains up by Mount Marcy. Oh my God. Never mind. Long story.
Says he just puts a compass app in his iPhone. Man, I tell you
Great
what,
till the batteries die.
The days of electronics, man, you know, with the GPSs and all that and on watches and all that, it's nice, but it's not nice when it doesn't work. And that's when it's going to not work.
Yeah.
Something will break. The battery will go out. It's just the way it is.
Or it will be pouring rain and it will be cold and it will be dark and you'll be done.
And there'll be no moon.
No moon.
That's it. No moon, stars, big cloudy, overcast. I think +5 even hit on it a minute ago. He says he doesn't miss doing any nighttime land nav.
That's one thing I never was able to get is traveling on the stars.
Try that with an astigmatism. Oh, the North Star's over there. Which one? It's like me trying to look through a red dot. It's like, which dot do I pick? Pick the one in the middle. Oh, God.
We had this conversation one night.
Yes, we did. That's why I went to low power variables on everything with the diopter. I had to. Oh, let's see.
Wright family asks, are the rings on a tree trunk closer to the north? I don't know.
I don't know. Take out my chainsaw while I'm lost, and I'll cut the tree down and check it.
Yeah, I don't generally cut trees down when I'm lost.
No. Unless I plan on building a cabin if I'm really lost, like I was in the Adirondacks. Long story.
Tim Davis, I never saw a ship when I was in the Navy, so I never got to go to sea.
Oh.
Oh, man. This has been a good conversation. My phone is about to die.
I gotta go too.
I gotta go to bed.
All right.
About a half hour ago, I was gonna say that, and then we started talking about all this
We
stuff.
didn't talk about long range, right? So it was interesting.
If you bring your chainsaw painter, then you can cut trees. Very true. Very true. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that chat for the night. We were at 2 hours and 13 minutes, so I'm sure there's at least one thing you learned.
I think this is the chat. At least in my experience, this is the chat that has had of Rick's that has had the least amount of 6.8 Creedmoor talk I've ever heard.
6.8.
270 Creedmoor. Wait, what?
What?
What? Somebody said I need grill cream.
Yeah. You got shit locks on top up there with it.
Oh,
Hey,
man.
I want to go hippie.
If I don't get a real haircut soon, I'm gonna like lose my mind. You
My
know,
dog
you can.
was like,
No,
Dad,
we
I'll
got
cut
an
it for you. I
afterchat.
was like, nope, you're not cutting it.
Oh my God, man, your head goes into weird places when you haven't had a haircut in 8 weeks and you have a trimmer and you're like, I can do this. I can do this. And you do it and you realize I shouldn't have done that.
I should have left it.
I should have left it.
I haven't noticed.
Matt doesn't know what you're talking about right now.
I haven't noticed.
All right, you guys. Well, hopefully you enjoyed. It was fun. Appreciate you guys all showing up. And
Thanks for having me.
thanks for all the great questions out there. And I can't even talk anymore. I still got tea left. Is there an after chat? No, there's not an after chat.
Florida said, I just got here. Give me my 2 hours.
What's up, Florida Bearded Fisherman? Yeah, he's out. He's out of that. I'm out of that. And we're out. Peace out. Anybody got to tell anybody anything before we get out of here?
Any alibis?
All right.
I appreciate everyone watching and supporting the channels.
If you can't kill it with a 9 or 45, get a rifle.
There you go.
Start with a rifle.